Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Kelly Sucks at Gaming. My name is Kelly and I suck at gaming. It's been a hot minute and I know this is something that has never showed up on my channel before. Today we are talking about Monster Hunter and I am so excited. I have never talked about Monster Hunter on my channel before. I know, of the 20 videos that I have. Wow, what history. I adore the Monster Hunter franchise. It is one of my favorite franchises next to Animal Crossing. And actually, it's very similar to Animal Crossing in that I am not a total newbie to the franchise. However, I did not start from the very beginning. I actually started playing Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Generations on the 3DS. A good friend of ours was playing it and convinced us to buy some used 3DSs and a couple copies of the game and to play along with him, and I fell in love with it from there. And it's really funny because I'm pretty sure Generations is considered a spin-off game because it's kind of like a collection of all the best monsters and everything from the series thus far, which I believe For You was the last mainline game at that point. And so it's just kind of funny that it's like I actually started on a spin-off game. Oh gosh, I'm sorry if you can hear Pancake. She is so upset that I'm in here and she wants to play and I can hear her bringing her baby. Yeah. You got your baby? Oh my gosh, she's too much. She is just too much. But today I really wanted to discuss, I know that the teaser trailer for Sunbreak just released and I'm so excruciatingly excited for that. I've put way too many hours into Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, played the heck out of Generations Ultimate when that came out for Switch. I was super excited. The one thing that I wish they would have done with Generations Ultimate is I wish they would have given you an option for like updated control scheme. That's the biggest thing that like irked me about going back to Generations Ultimate after playing World especially and having that updated control scheme. Otherwise, I played the heck out of it. Played a lot of Rise, not as much. I know it's been talked to death, but there's just not so much of an end game for Rise, especially once you get a decent charm of any sort. Like there's really no incentive to keep going other than just the love of play, which I love the gameplay for Rise. I think it is probably the best that Monster Hunter has ever felt when playing it. But that's neither here nor there. Today, our topic is my 5 favorite monsters of all time in no particular order. I have them written down here, and I know a lot of people do it in a like least favorite to most favorite, but I just like want to talk about why these are my favorite monsters and not the actual order with which they're my favorite monsters, if that makes sense. So we're going to start with probably the most extra choice, Gourmagala, and I know everybody loves him, but oh my gosh, his design is just incredible. The lore behind him, even though I've never played for Monster Hunter 4U, I really want to, and honestly, I should just buy it digitally. I've been trying to find a physical version, which I know I can get online easily, but I really just need to play it. But just the lore behind him with the frenzy virus and transforming into Shagaru, and it's so cool. And even though I kind of only got the watered down version in Generations of that, because it was included, him and Shagaru were included and the frenzy virus did exist in Generations, it was just so cool. I know that there's like no other way to say it, but it's so cool, and such a fun fight. And I love the mechanic of you getting frenzied and you have to be more aggressive in order to actually make use of the frenzy virus, and it's really awesome. And And I love him. I love his design. I was really upset when he did not show up in World. And then when he also did not show up in Rise, which he didn't fit into Rise nearly as much as I thought he might have fit into World, even though World still wasn't quite constructed for him. But a really great YouTuber, Rage Gaming Videos, Josh, made a great point that I don't think, and I agree with Josh on this, that I don't think Gourmagala is going to show up again. The frenzy virus and the lore behind it is just, it all has to be there for Gourmagala to show up. It all has to, and they're not going to rehash the same thing. You know, they're not going to, the frenzy virus was the gimmick for 4U. They're not going to reuse that, just like they're not going to reuse the wire bug after Rise for the next game that comes out after Rise and Sunbreak and everything. They're not going to reuse that mechanic. They're not going to come back to it. They didn't come back to Hunter Arts. They didn't bring back the Slinger, which was the Slinger and the Clutch Claw were kind of the gimmicks for World and Iceborne. They did not bring those back. They don't, from Monster Hunter 3, they did not bring back the swimming. Like, they're not going to bring back the gimmick of that game. And so, unfortunately, I don't think Gourmagala is ever going to show up again in beautiful HD, updated model loveliness ever. And it's really sad, and I hate that, but I've now come to terms with it, that I'm never going to see him, and the best that I'm going to get is, on the Switch in Generations Ultimate, seeing him up on TV like that. That's probably the best we're going to get. But I fell in love with him the first time I fought him, and the frenzy virus, and just the way that he moves is so cool, and seeing his arms and his wings finally unveil when he gets totally enraged, and seeing the feelers come out, it's so cool. And I just love his design with the dark cloak and the purple. Oh, it's awesome, and I love it. So then next on my list, I have Nergigante. I love him. I didn't think I would love him as much as I do, and I think it's because it's not his design, but it's his personality. He has so much personality. Like, in his fight, if you just put on a ghillie mantle and go and watch him and follow him around, he's so funny. When he goes to fall asleep, he flops over on his back, and he's almost has his tongue hanging out. I don't know, he might actually have his tongue hanging out. I'm not exactly sure if he does. I can't remember now, but I love that he just flops over, and you watch him when he is he's very dog-like in his outside of a fight behavior, and it's so cute. He's adorable. He's this big spiky dog, and I also love that he's the Elder Eater. That's something we've not seen before, where elder dragons actually have somebody preying upon them, and I think that's really cool. And I also love that he kind of comes to your rescue with Sharish Valdez. Spoilers for the end of Iceborne, I'm sorry. But, that he actually comes to your rescue a little bit. I don't know if it's more probably a self-serving thing because, that's his meal, but because he eats elder dragons. But he's really cool. I love just sitting and watching him. His fight is so much fun. It's so much fun. And I know a lot of other monsters get really aggressive and start to, rubber band as they get low on health, but his is so apparent, how much more aggressive he gets, especially Ruiner Nergigante in Iceborne. You can really, when he's low, even especially if you got your HUD turned off, so you can't see the little heart rate monitor or the map, when he is getting really low and is ready to die, because he's just all over the place. But yeah, I love Nergigante. He's a cutie, and I really hate that I don't have a model of him. It stinks because I do have a Nergigante, or no, I have a Gourmagala. I do have a Gourmagala. I don't have a Nergigante, and it stinks because I really want to buy his figure builder to add to the collection, but I also am one of those people who I like to buy the whole set of 6. So I get all of them, but like I don't like the set that he comes in. I don't like a lot of the other monsters that he comes in, and I wouldn't care about having their figures. So I don't know. Eventually I might get one, but who knows? My next monster is good old Devil Joe, the Pickle. He is just so memeable. And he's hilarious. It's hilarious how he is just so hungry all the time that he will cannibalize himself. You know, you cut his tail off, you gotta get to it before he does, honestly. And I feel like that's more apparent in the older games, where that's more of a issue. But he's hilarious. And I love to say that if Patrick, oh my gosh, pancake. But I love to say, anytime anybody ever asks, like any of our friends who are into Monster Hunter as well, and we talk about, ooh, like what monster would you be? Patrick is always a Devil Joe because he's always hungry, and it's perfect. Like, I know Patrick wouldn't cannibalize himself, obviously, but it's so funny. And I just remember in Generations grinding his fight so many times to get his gear. And it was my final armor set before Generations Ultimate. And I remember because we were trying to upgrade it to the Savage Joe set, and trying the 3 of us. So I mained bow in Generations, Patrick mained dual blades, and our friend Philip, who was our 3rd, mained longsword. And I just remember that was torture. He has so much health. I think we got to like the 45 when we got the 5 minutes left alert, and we were just like, there's no way he's not even limping. It was ridiculous, and we were struggling so hard. We ran out of potions. It was ridiculous. And I kind of hate that they made Savage Joe kind of a pushover in Iceborne. Like, Savage Joe used to essentially be like the end game boss, you know? He was stronger, had more health, was far more deadly than most of the Elder Dragons, if not all of them. And he became such a pushover in Iceborne. I kind of hate that. Because I fell in love with him in Generations. Like, I kind of like love-hated him. I loved him, but I hated him because I had to grind him so much. And then we got to that Savage Joe fight, and I was like, oh my god, I never want to do this ever again. And that's actually where we stopped playing, too. It was because of Savage Joe, we kind of like, we're like, you know, I think we need a little bit of a break from Monster Hunter. Like, Savage Joe caused us to stop playing. I think that's hilarious. So yeah, that's my love for Devil Joe. My next monster, I love him for sentimental reasons. I don't even think there's anything special about his design or his fight or his lore, but it's just how accomplished I felt when I finally beat him, and that was Glavenus in Generations. He was so intimidating to me, especially in single player village, like story mode quests. We went through and almost totally completed every quest in the hub before I even started the village quests. I was terrified of fighting him by myself. And that's like, and I think the reason I love him is he really shows off how much I've grown as like a gamer. And I know that's like so stupid to say, but like really, but when we started playing Generations, I loved video games, but I didn't love playing them. I loved watching other people play them. So I loved watching Patrick play, but I didn't really play. I played a lot of casual things, but like things that involved like strategy or fighting, I was like, nope, I'm content just watching you play, Patrick, and enjoying the story and looking up strategy guides. I loved being like okay, here's what I found online, or here's what I found in the book to help you with this, or here's how we can completion this. Here's the list of where all of these objects are. So now we can go and complete it all. I loved being that kind of helper. And so Monster Hunter was really the first game that I played where it was like, I have to get good. And Glavenus was that wall for me. He was the visual representation of me growing as a gamer and getting better at playing games just in general, and having the balls to actually try the fight. I put off that final village quest that was the Fated Four. You had to fight all 4 of them together. I put that off because I was so terrified of having to fight 4 monsters and finishing it in the time. I was terrified. And I was terrified because of Glavenus too. I was like, I can't fight him by myself. His mouth is huge and open so wide. He's got this gigantic sword tail. It has so much range on it. And also I think I was a little bit traumatized by fighting Hellblade so much, because we did that for our friend Philip to get his armor set and to upgrade it. And I was a little traumatized by Hellblade because he was really hard for me, and I struggled with Hellblade. And it's so funny to say that now, because it's going back to in GU, it's like nothing, even as you go up the tier for the Deviants, he's still kind of a pushover even at level 10, 11. But yeah, he represents so much to me, and that's why I really love him. And I was really excited to see him added into Iceborne. I'm really upset though that we still haven't seen Astalos, and I would have put Astalos on this list, but the only thing that I really love about him is his design and his coloring, specifically, Bolt Reaver Astalos with the blue. Ooh, he's so gorgeous. He's beautiful. But I'm really upset that we haven't seen Astalos. I think he would have been a wonderful addition to Coral Highlands in Monster Hunter World, and I'm a little bit upset. I'm happy that we got Namiel. I think Namiel fits wonderfully as well, as perfect in Coral Highlands, but I think it would have been really nice to see Astalos as well. Just throwing that out there. And then my final monster for my 5 favorites, and this might be funny, it might be unexpected, it probably is going to be unexpected, but it's Tetsu Cabra. I love our little toad man. He for our little friend group who plays Monster Hunter, he is the pinnacle. He is, anytime that we're we just need to fight something, just to fight some, just to do anything. It's so funny because we'll always be like, oh hey, I went and posted a quest, and it's the hardest quest you can imagine, and we're like, ooh, what's it gonna be? And then we go and see, and we're like, oh my god, it's a Tetsu Cabra. It's gonna be the hardest quest. And basically we would practice speed running his quest, and I think we got him down to seconds, literally, defeating him, because we knew where he started every time. And he was our punching bag, and he's so fun, and he's so different too, to be a frog monster. I think he's the only, he's not the only amphibian, because you have Zamtrios, but he is near the only, well, now we have Tetranodon in Rise, because I think he's considered an amphibious monster. But I was so upset in Rise when we saw Master Hojo riding the little baby Tetsu Cabra, and then big Tetsu Cabra wasn't in it. I was like, how can you do that? How can you snub my froggy man? He's so cute. Fuck Drill Tusk, nobody likes him, but regular Tetsu Cabra is so cute, and he's so fun, and he's just the greatest little punching bag. And I love watching him just do his little hop, and I'm sorry, he's just great. He's just great. I can't choose anything else to be like, yes, I will never say no to his quest. I don't care how many times I've done it. Honestly, I need to go into like Generations. I need to like charge my 3DS and I need to see how many fights we've done against Tetsu Cabra, like how many we've killed. Because I have to imagine it's at least 100. Just on Tetsu Cabra, that poor little man. Oh, I love him. I love him so much. But yeah, those are my 5 favorite large monsters from the Monster Hunter series of all time. I know my roster is limited considering I've only played 4 games, 2 of which are considered spin-offs. But those are my favorites. Let me know what your favorites are down in the comments below. If you are a Monster Hunter fan, let me know if you're excited for Sunbreak. I am super stoked. We're going like halfway across the world. We have to be, from Japan to Eastern Europe. Like, holy cow, it's gonna be great. I'm excited to see what we get at Tokyo Game Show. What additional information? I'm like, we're still like 8-9 months out from release of this DLC, and yet they're like gonna give us so much information. I'm like, save some for closer to release, you know, but it's good. It's all good. I am super stoked. I want to know how super stoked you are too. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever this was. I've really kind of been into more of like the podcasty kind of styles things where I just kind of like talk about stuff. So let me know what you think about these. I've got some other stuff in the works that I want to film or talk about, and those will be up eventually, I guess. But thank you so much for being here. Subscribe if you like the material, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!